And I think to understand just what it means to be a fake is something which is really important to us in the world in which we live. Because after all, we know that there are occasions when we've got to do it, but we also know that there is a deep need in all of us for the reality, the truth behind the faking, and that's one of the things that we expect art to do for us, to present the human condition in ways that don't falsify, that don't make it into some cheap, sugary version of itself, but actually present the truth, but present it in a way that enables us also to accept it. And I think that ideal of art is something that I'm sure all the people in this room share. But why would one be a representational artist if it weren't because one wants to show...
So this is an art conference. Did some of you see it? Some of you watch it? But which do you think was, of those two versions, where you get Emma Watson singing in the new Disney Beauty and the Beast, or that other, I don't even know who that was, but that other version, Disney in the Hood, or Time to Kill, or what, I don't know why it's called that. Which do you think is more real, or gives us a closer sense of the truth? Or are they the same? Remember with Maleficent and Sleeping Beauty and the ballet, I think there's three different interpretations of same music, three different interpretations of what is communicated by that same music. Same thing happens with those two versions, right? We get totally different. Or is it?
Well, I think it kind of depends on what concept you're trying to look at. Because if you're looking at beauty as what's more truthful, then the Time to Kill one would be more truthful in reality to like how we live today. If you're looking at as in melody, what sounds more pleasant, then the first one would, even if it's a lie or not quite as honest, it still sound better. I think at least in most opinions, probably. So.
And I think I agree exactly with what you're saying. The second one is actually, for our time and our perspective, much more relatable. But I think they could have, if they had the budget and the talent, could have made it just as well. It could have been a top
I still
dollar.
thought it was pretty well done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's obviously a group of people doing this for the joy and for the humor of it. They weren't a multi-million-dollar franchise backing. But I think the perspective and what you're hitting on is that from us currently in our environment, from our perspective, that point on that funnel, on Einstein's funnel, we can relate more.
Well, what is the basic ingredient or the message in this? In both of them, really. For Belle, what is she?
An outsider?
Pardon?
Well, I think she represents an outsider in both films, right?
Right. She's in a village that she can't stand.
She's a girl
More so in the first one than I think in the second one. In the second one, she seems not to realize how out of place she is. Especially the scene where like they hand her the child and she takes it, and then gives it to some guy that's like, what am I doing with this? That doesn't happen in the movie at all, or the original version, which I think they kept the song pretty darn close. So
there's another video. I don't know this exact title, but it's a historical version of Disney songs, and so it'll play like between the Ariel and like Pocahontas, except like historically accurate, and so all the Indians are getting slaughtered. Ariel's like diseased and like dying. Like it's hilarious. It's horrible, but it's funny.
Horrible, but funny. Oh, gee, Schadenfreude, I guess.
There's a scene with Belle, but her whole village is dying of like diseases, and like half the women are dead from childbirth, and so it's the same melodies from the songs, but it's like
I can't stand this provincial life, right? Because it means death for women, basically. That's not very interesting. In a way, she's wondering about the meaning of life and wants to have a great narrative that's interesting, and none of the surrounding people do. Does that make sense in both of them? But art today seems to have changed. With Hegel, we end up with this interesting thesis that is referred to as the end of art. So, so the one thing that comes up is Arthur Danto's book, The End of Art, but that's an analysis of what was going on in the 60s, right? So, and so you got Andy Warhol and things of that sort. That's not Andy, by the way. Andy didn't look, well, I guess he did wear the sunglasses some of the time. But here's the one, actually, let me see if, so this is the same conference.
It's one of the pillars of art.
And this
The Germans.
particular panel has Roger and Odd. That's his name. His name is Odd. And I looked up, because so they're sitting there amicably and they have a good conversation with one another, but Roger Scruton is basically saying kitsch is bad. It's fake art, and if anything, it's gotten to the point now where it's deliberately fake, making fun of fake art that's making fun of art. So you've got meta levels of fakery going on, right? I think, for example, of Mel Brooks films, right? You know, each of his Blazing Saddles makes fun of the genre of Western films. Spaceballs makes fun of the genre of science fiction films. Son of Frankenstein or whatever makes fun of scary movies, right? Psycho makes fun of Psycho? No. What's the one where he makes fun of Hitchcock movies? It's not Psycho.
High Anxiety.
High Anxiety. Thank you. Must like Mel Brooks pretty well. But I mean, I love the scene, where Mel Brooks himself is running and the seagulls are all, and you think, oh no, the birds, right? They're all going to attack him, and instead they all just shit on him. Remember that one, right? Well, I guess I should. So what is it? So. Gosh, it's the first thing that comes up.
Of course, they're pigeons.
Oh, they're pigeons, they're not seagulls. So that is making fun of a famous scene in an Alfred Hitchcock movie, right? Where where the birds are actually killing people, right? You know, so that's a spoof on. But in order to get it, in fact, I think to get any of the Mel Brooks jokes, you have to know the genre that he's playing with, right? You know, so that would be postmodern, right? In the sense that it's you have to be aware of something culturally, historically, in order to understand the whole point of, you know. So what's her face singing, "I'm tired," right? Right? Remember Blazing Saddles? Everyone knows "I'm tired."
Yeah.
No? Well, she's playing. So. Huh? I've only got. I've got 10 minutes. So. Tired of playing the game.
Here I stand, the goddess of desire, set men on fire. I have this power. Morning, noon, and night is quick and dancing, some quick romancing, and then a shower. Stage door Johnnies constantly surround me. They always hound me with one request. Who can satisfy their lustful habit? I'm not a rabbit. I need some rest. I'm tired, sick and tired of love. I've had my fill of love. From
You're showing all my
below
childhood
and
crushes in class today. Madeline Kahn and Emma Watson. It's good taste.
I'm tired of being admired.
Oh,
Tired of love uninspired. Let's face it, I'm tired.
so that's a play on. Not the same song, or is it? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Well, I'm sure she does do this in English too. In fact, I think that's just about the only thing she does, even when she's older. It's like her one hit, you know, that she just had to sing every dang place she went. I really want to hear the same song. Even though she's much older here, and obviously it's some of the word.
Falling in love again. Never wanted to.
But that's what Blazing Saddles is, right? So that could be hilarious enough, I suppose, the way Mel Brooks does that. But it makes way more sense if you realize that Marilyn Kahn, right, is that's the guy, right? She's imitating Marlena Dietrich, right? So it's not like she sings that way with a German accent, right? You know, but she's playing off of this.
I know I'm not.
But so, in a sense, it's kitsch. It's postmodern play. I mean, Mel Brooks and art of that sort. But when we look at odd nerd Run. Is it? Nerd Run. My favorite picture is sorry, it's not, it's gross, but shit rock.
Gross.
Oh man.
So you know all the what odd nerd whatever his name is. Nerd Rum is Nerd Rum. He's Norwegian. What he's playing on is Rembrandt and that time period. And so what he does is he takes pictures of that time period and then changes them, not even subtly, right? In order to give you the same artistic style, but things that are kitsch, right? You know, so totally deliberately, you know, so he's using that style, but at the same time he gives you stuff that you would like, oh my, you know, who would want that in their living room? That kind of thing. So it's interesting that the two of them are sitting there politely talking with one another in this case.
Has the same upper hand.
When in the previous video, Sir Roger makes fun of all of this stuff.
So far as art has a single universal function, it would be something like that, of bringing us back to the truth of our condition and saying, look, there are real feelings. And not
But
just
this
fake
kitsch
ones.
stuff doesn't.
And that we
Right,
can
so is
get
it real
through our
art,
life
then,
dealing
or
in
is it just
in this fake currency?
But I,
Well, if you consider
In the
satire
end,
art,
the real
I do. I mean, like,
come to us.
like the shit rock there, that caused a response in us. And that was a response that Odd was going for.
Odd is, I think he's got a whole school of people that imitate him.
Yeah, I mean, it's an art.
So it's out there. What Sir Roger also talks about is like religious art that you get in gift shops, you know, where you get like plastic images of the Holy Family and stuff, you know, all that kind of stuff is kitsch. It's not, does it give us the truth? Well, only if what you're doing is laughing at ourselves for having such crap, you know, basically. Does that make sense? I think I've got to shut up, right? It's almost I got 4 more minutes. Is this interesting? Is my approach, this is the first time I ever conduct a class this way, sort of.
it's not something I've heard before, so
Pardon?
it's the first time hearing something like this, so that's pretty
Oh, well, good, I guess.
I think this is one of the better classes we've had so far, honestly.
Oh, this particular one?
Yeah. A little bit more.
Mostly
back and
because I
forth.
had a lot more goofy, you know, I love that, it's not Emma Watson, but, you know,
Yeah.
Disney in the Hood.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I've only seen, I haven't actually watched the whole thing with the audio on. So it was like, the first time somebody linked it to me, I ended up getting it, and I think, what the heck is this? Then I heard some of it, and I realized, oh, this is something worth comparing to the original. You see, is it kitsch? Or is it more real? Because it's more contemporary. You know, who lives in a provincial town like that depicted in